Alright guys, so this is my post Flames of Destruction Mermail deck profile. I will probably not do any combos in this video. I'll probably save those for another video. I think I learned my lesson last time where I posted a deck profile and I tried to go into combos and I really didn't do really much of both and I ended up taking up a lot of time. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a deck profile, and then on a separate video I will do a combo tutorial. I will probably do a third video just like on my thoughts on mermails and how I think they should work. If you notice, I'm not running Light of Sekka or Sekka's Light or whatever you want to call it. Reasonings why I think it's good and bad. But yeah, here we go. So this is the deck that I was running. I was considering doing a Light of Sekka build or a regular build. I decided to run traps and spells because one of the traps is very important to one of the combos in the deck, and I would rather just have extending traps, and there's some broken traps that you want, some broken spells I mean, that you actually want to run. So you start with 3 Megalo. This is probably one of the better cards you can have. He's a level 7. He's not once per turn. You can summon him as many times as you want as long as you have resources in your hand. He's an easy way to get to Tomahawk, and if you're going second, you can use him to OTK your opponent. Then you have 3 Abystias. Well, one of the best mermails you can draw is point blank. He's not an auto win because you have to draw specific cards to have him, but he's a really good card, and we run a lot of extenders in the deck to make sure that he gets you to where you need to be. But he's a really good card. Then it's 3 Neptibus. This is probably one of the best cards. This is the best card in your deck. There is no card in your deck that you want to see more than this guy. He instantly gets you +2. He gets your level 4s in the grave. He gets you level 7s in the hand. He fixes any hand. Him and any water monster. Him in a hand of like garbage. It makes your hand perfect. So he is a must. And then now that we have Dragoons at 3. Welcome back. He getting the 3rd Dragoons actually makes a couple of plays we had even more absurd. And whenever I post my my combo video, you'll be able to see from there. But he is ridiculous. I am so glad to have him back at 3. So welcome back, Dragoons. And then for the infantries, for the one-ofs of the Sea Serpents, I paid 1 Diva and 1 heavy infantry. I don't run any more of the other guys because they don't extend my combos. I can easily see you siding or maining any of the other guys. It's really personal preference. He is so searchable in the deck. I have no need to run a 2nd or a 3rd one, any of that. The guy that blows up face down, a lot of the times the traps are reactive or they can be chainable. So a lot of the times he never comes up. So I like this combo right here. The Diva to search out. The Diva is a little weird though because a lot of the times they'll ash it. So you know, kind of if you have this and you have like a Called by the Grave or something like that, then I'd feel a little bit more safe playing the Diva. All right, so for the Abystias package, we're in Osha, Gund, Mander, and Pike. Pike's really important because we run the trap. The trap lets you bring him out. Mander is really important for the Osha. That goes together, and Gund is one of the best mermails you can run. She is hard once per turn, so we only run 1 because she's very searchable. So that's the package there. And to round off a lot of the 3-ofs, some of the support we run is Gamma Seal, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. There is a piece of tech in here that I really love in this deck that makes this card broken. But otherwise, he's water, he's discard fodder, he gets rid of your problems. Even this is the only brick in this deck that I will run one of, or that I will max out on. It doesn't do anything by itself. It doesn't extend your combos. It doesn't do that. I added a card to make him better that actually makes him explosive in the combo, but you don't have to run him at 3 if you want. You can side deck him if you want, but I love him at 3 because it gives us, he's just really good. And then we run the frog package, 3 frogs and a Ronin Totem. This is really great if you draw nothing but garbage and you need to get something on the board that's even remotely disruptive. As long as you draw one swap frog, you're good. Summon the swap, discard a card, and then you can get yourself a toad. That'll buy you a little bit of time. A lot of the decks are explosive as long as you hit the right thing, and hopefully they don't have Called by the Grave to negate it. You're usually okay with this. And it helps extends link plays because the Ronin Toad can bring himself back if you have multiple swap frogs in the graveyard. Next one up is 3 Aqua Spirits. These were in the sections of extenders. This is another great extender. The reason I like Mermails a lot is their ceiling is really high, and it's wonderful because if your opponent ever stops your normal summon, they throw their hand traps at you, you can keep on going with Aqua Spirit. You are always going to have water monsters in your graveyard. You can just keep on going and power through those hand traps. One of the best cards, and it's level 4, so you can go into Bahamut Shark. Also, it works as link summon material. Toad can get it back. I mean, it's a great card. I don't see why you wouldn't run it. It's a better card. If you run Saryuja, it actually acts as a name for Saryuja. These are the one-off techs that I actually run. And I run these because there's a combo in my deck that I'll go over in the combo video that actually works with a card in the deck plus any of these cards. And that is Lacunga, Fishborg Archer, Crystron, Rosenix. And these 3 cards by themselves looks weird. And my last deck profile is actually only running 3 Crystron Rosenix, sorry. But because it's hard once per turn and it pretty much does the same thing the Fishborg Launcher does, I decided to take those out, take 2 of them out, replace one with Launcher and replace one with Lacunga. Lacunga is wonderful late game. You can start going crazy with your opponent's board, making different cards, making easy link 1, link 2, link 3, link 4 cards, and you know, just going crazy with it. This card is one of the better cards, and you don't have to, a lot of the times you don't have to use this effect too much. You can use the effect maybe once or twice and it reinforces your board. You can even go into extra link with him if you do play that, but I only run 1. And then for the last monster, Mooling Glacier, one of the best boss monsters. You can just drop him, disrupt your opponent. After your opponents drop 2 or 3 hand traps on you, as long as it's not Droll, you drop the Mooling, get rid of the rest of his hand, and good luck, you know, trying to play Yu-Gi-Oh with 2 cards in your hand. As for the spells, I would play the obvious spells 1-for-1, Soul Charge, and Dark Hole. It'd be Regeki, but I don't have a Regeki. I keep on giving my Regekis away. The 1-for-1's really good because the 1-for-1 searches out one of the best monster in the game, in the deck. I'm sorry, I should say. The 1-for-1 is really good because it searches the best monster in your deck. The Soul Charge is ridiculous because if your opponent tries to disrupt you and you get a ton of monsters, you can just bring them right back. This is a little questionable though with the new time rules, so as long as you play a little bit faster, you know, try to OTK your opponent. But really, your turn shouldn't go past turn 3 when you run this deck. If you're going past turn 3, you're probably going to lose. And then the Dark Hole, this is, like I said, Regeki, Dark Hole, you know, it's something to bait out those unbreakable boards. And then the last 3 spells that I play, or the last 2, would be Call by the Grave. One of the cards that really, really hurts this deck is Droll and Lockbird. That card makes this deck come to a screeching halt. As soon as your opponent drops the Droll and Lockbird, you cannot play anymore because you're trying to get your hand so big so you can, you know, try to hit your opponent with as many cards as you can. The Droll and Lock stops you from getting to your deck. You don't summon from your deck. You revive stuff, but mostly you try to make your hand really big by searching a lot of cards. If they Droll you, that's it. You're done. And it sucks because what'll happen is you'll have the Neptibus, you'll send a Goons to get a Goons, and so once you get that Goons and you try to resolve the other one, they'll drop it and you won't be able to search. So this is really crucial, especially right now when Sky Striker's out. It works really great. Now that Sky Striker's out, everyone's playing Droll, so Called by the Grave makes it so that that doesn't affect you. The rest of the hand traps aren't too bad. The rest of the hand traps are actually pretty, you can play through them. Ash is pretty easy to play through. Veiler's pretty easy to play through. Even cherries is pretty easy to play through. Firewall isn't your only win condition. You can, you know, keep on playing through that. Ghost Ogre is a non-starter. Ghost Ogre doesn't really help them stop your effects. Your effects are the most important part, not really the monsters you have on the field. So even though you can go through one section building up your plays, that's not the only way you can build up your plays. There's other ways you can build them up. And then for the last two cards I play, it's the Kyoto Waterfront and the Abyss Sphere. This one is very strange. Whenever I first started picking up this deck, I was thinking of playing this, but there is a great combo. This works so well whenever you draw Neptibus and you draw just a bunch of water monsters. This works so phenomenally well because you can mold that hand into a card that has 3 disruptions. It's ridiculous. And you only run one. You don't want to draw multiples. You draw it if you do. You draw it if you don't. No big deal. But if you draw it and your hand's garbage, but you have an Neptibus to rescue you, you can end up with a pretty cool board. And then the Sphere, it's very searchable. You really don't need anything else. You just can search it, and then as long as you have the infantry in your hand, that becomes a Regeki break. So that is for the spells, or for the deck, I should say. And so for the extra deck, we have 1 Link Karibo. These are all our Link ones: Link Karibo, Link Spider, and Nightmare Mermaid. The Link Karibo is really good because the Neptibus is level 1. The Link Spider for the Tomahawk shenanigans. And then the Nightmare Mermaid because you run Nightmare Goblins and you run some Nightmares. So whenever you go from that to the Nightmare Mermaid, it helps you trigger off your Firewall Dragon to special summon. Because a lot of the times you do have to special summon from your hand with this deck. Then the Link 2s, we have Mistar Boy, Ib, Nightmare Goblin, and Cleafort Genius. The Mistar Boy is pretty standard. You basically run him so that you can OTK your opponent, and because you can just get any two water monsters and have them point down. That sets up your Bahamut Toad plays, that kind of thing. Your Ib is really good. If you end up not getting a really strong combo, you can end with the Ib. It protects your big beefy guys, so if your opponent tries to destroy your stuff, you can just get rid of the Ib. The Nightmare Goblin is really cool. It's a better proxy dragon. That's how I use it. I really never use the summon 1 card effect. I use it every once in a while, but it's a really cool card because it goes straight into Nightmare Mermaid, and you don't have to, and you can still use a Mermaid with other Link material, which is good. And then the Cleafort Genius is great if you get, you know, hand trapped to bits and you have no other monsters on the field. You make a Tomahawk, fill up your tokens, and then just start making plays from there, which is good. You can actually, I rarely go into it, but he's also good if you ever want to turn off floodgates. Any Link floodgates, he's not affected by them, so you can negate a random card that you control that doesn't matter, like a token or anything with effects, and you can negate both effects from there. For our Link 3s, we have Decode Talker and we have Ningrisu. Decode Talker, he's a very standard guy for your plays. He stops impermanence, he stops effect veiler, he stops all that stuff, which is good. A lot of the times they'll try to veiler your Tomahawk, but you just tribute it to negate it. And then you can keep on continuing with your plays. Ningrisu is really good. If your opponent ever has a Borreload or anything like that, you can just get it off immediately. It's really easy to make. It's ridiculously easy to make. You could just make it with 2 Link monsters and you're done. It's dumb. I don't know why more people don't main deck it. And then 2 Link Force, the Firewall Dragon, and the Nightmare Griffin. This card is broken. This card should be banned. But since it's not banned, we will continue to abuse it. But it actually makes the deck work. It lets you make those Link combos. It lets you recur back your your guys, your level 5s, that kind of thing. Or not your level 5s, I mean, your Dragoons. So then you can make your Bahamut Toad combos. And the Griffin is the one piece we were missing. We were looking for a really good Link 4 that either had some type of disruption or some kind of floodgate. And that one's perfect, the Griffin, because now whenever you make your big board, you have 2 disrupts and you have a floodgate. So your opponent has to play around it, and even summoning to their extra deck, they're not going to be their extra monster zone. They're not going to be. They're going to have to play around that. They'll have to make a Link monster before they can start using any special summon monsters effects, which is good. So there's that. And for my XCs, I have Galaxy Tomahawk, Bahamut Shark, and two Toads. Bahamut Toad, that comes up a lot, almost every single game. It's really easy to link down. That's not a problem. The Tomahawk, it's broken. There's a list that was floating around that was saying that it might be banned. I could easily see this card being banned, but you know, we make rank 7, so we might as well abuse it while we can. It easily makes your Firewall Dragon live, and it gets you all your combo pieces from there. And then to round it all off, you get all your little tokens that you would normally do. Alright guys, so that was my deck profile. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I am going to post another video for my combos, and I'm going to post another video for my theories. Those should be linked below in the description. If they're not already, they'll be uploaded here pretty soon, so you know, stay alert for that. Thanks.